guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Genoa in Italy. I'm whispering today because even though there's someone banging furiously in the background, I'm down on a jetty. As you can see, there's lots of little boats here and people tend to sleep on these boats. So I'm trying to keep my voice down so as not to disturb them. It is still relatively early. It's after 8 o'clock though. So anyway, we're down by Amico shipyard, which is just over here on this side. That's Amico shipyard here, and this is also part of their property, and you get a lot of boats that come in here when they're getting work done at Amico, or sometimes they just use this as a facility when they're laid up. Anyway, you can see Yacht Barbara down here. This is a boat that used to be owned by Vladimir Potanin. He doesn't own it anymore. It's been sold. Anyway, we came down to look at that boat because it's a lovely looking boat, but we saw this boat here. It's not this Sensors here, but the one behind it, this big boat here. You might have recognized it if you saw our F1 videos, but that we were surprised to see that because it's not displaying its AIS, which there's nothing wrong with that in the shipyard. When you're moored, you can switch off your AIS. It's just not really done normally. So we were surprised to see that boat as we drove past, but yeah, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, if you've seen the Formula One videos that we did recently from Monaco, at the Monaco GP, then you'll know that Yacht Faith was at the GP. She was there in the first video, she left, then she came back for the Grand Prix weekend, and we talked all about it, the stats and everything like that. So if you want to know more about the boat in that sense, then you can go check out that video. I'm not going to go through it all again. What I will say is, that I'll repeat that the owner of the boat used to be Lawrence Stroll, who is a Formula One boss, and he's in with Aston Martin, one of the top guys at Aston Martin, and he sold the vessel to Michael Latifi, who is also involved in Formula One. He's a part owner of McLaren, and his son is a racing driver as well. He used to be racing for Williams in Formula One, I believe. I think it was Williams. He's not there anymore. The reason why I didn't spot Faith on the AIS is because it doesn't show as a vessel when you zoom in like other vessels, and there's a reason for this. If you go into the stats of the vessel on Marine Traffic, there's no data for the length and the width of the vessel. So the AIS doesn't know how to draw that vessel. That's one reason why that happens. Sometimes the gyro compass, when it's not working, the AIS doesn't know which direction the vessel is pointing in, so it just shows it as a dot. If you look at the vessels next to it, you can see that you've got the length and the position that they're in. So that's why I didn't spot Faith initially. I thought the AIS was turned off, but in actual fact it is broadcasting. It just doesn't have some of the data in there, so it's not visible immediately. Now, looking at Yacht Barbara, I've featured the yacht on the channel before, not for a while though. She's an 88.5 meter or 290 foot yacht built by Ocean Co in 2017. She can carry 20 crew and 12 guests in 6 cabins. Gross tonnage is just short of 3,000 gross tons. Vessel's worth approximately $150 million. Now, what's interesting about that is value of that boat, $150 million. The previous owner, Vladimir Potanin, he owned 3 of these boats, each one of them almost identical. There was a Barbara, there was one called Anastasia, and another boat which he still owns called Nirvana. And he sold this boat, and he sold the other boat, Anastasia. That's now called Wheels with a Z. But the fact is he owned 3 of these boats. 150 million times 3. I'll let you do the math, but absolutely unbelievable. So he's running 3 boats. That's a lot of money, 60 million a year on the 10% rule, 65 million, whatever. That's a lot of money. The vessel is in new ownership now. So Barbara was sold a few years ago, and it's now owned by someone called Felix Baker of the Baker Brothers. That is a hedge fund in the US that concentrates on biotechnology stocks, and According to Forbes, Felix Baker is worth $2.8 billion. What's interesting about the yachts in the marina today is, even though it's Sunday, I see a lot of the crews out on deck, you know, fully deckhands cleaning, just like any other day. Now, the reason why that's a little bit unusual is because when they're in the shipyard like this, they're usually kind of laid up, or they're here for work, you know, because sometimes they use some yachts use this place just to lay up when they're not being used. Sometimes they're here for work. But it's unusual to see the crew out early Sunday morning, you know, washing down like any other day, because what usually happens is the captain will stand the crew down when he can, give them a day off, especially on a Sunday if they're not guest on or they're not at sea or anything like that. So it's unusual to see them all working. I was expecting it to be very quiet down here, and the marina's quiet, but the yachts are busy, which is interesting. Now, Motor Yacht Barbara is setting up for a guest trip. Now, I don't know why that is. It's unlikely that the guest trip would be here in Genoa, in Italy. They might be going down to Portofino. It could be they're just setting up for brokers to come on. You know, if it's going to be chartered, maybe it's for sale. There's a lot of reasons why they could be setting up. They could be picking up guests, you know, they might leave here, go to Molovecchio, collect some guests and go out on a charter, or the owner might be coming on. There's lots of reasons, but it's unusual to see a boat setting up for guests in the shipyard. That's why I brought it up. But that's what they're doing. So it's great because we got some really fabulous footage of the boat fully laid out, or mostly laid out, for a guest trip. So you can see these areas up high up there where they open out the side and they place chairs out and rails and stuff like that so people can sit out. There's another one further back there, and they're laying it out right now, putting the chairs out. They're wiping down, the deckhands are wiping down all of the wood so it looks perfect, you know. You can see them wiping everything down. So they've sprayed it all, hosed it all down previously. Now they're cleaning it, make sure there's no dripping water or anything like that. So yeah, doing a good job at getting it all ready for whatever it is, whatever reason they're getting it ready for. Now you can see there, they got one of the doors open there. You can see the height of the deck head or the ceiling, and that was hinted at by the height of that glass on the side there. So you can see how it's got like a double height ceiling in there, which is quite impressive on a yacht, on any vessel, to have such high ceilings like that. But that's what those windows hinted at previous. Now you can see, if we go forward, you can see here, let's see here, this is the bridge, which is unusual. Bridge ordinarily would be up here, and it's down here with the big foredeck there right in front of it, so it limits visibility when they're at sea. So it's not ideal to have that bridge on that lower deck, but obviously a lot of the work that they do is with radar and AIS and stuff like that. So, but it does restrict, especially when you go into a dock and you can't see as well. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. I hope you've enjoyed looking at some of the yachts in the marina today. Sorry I couldn't focus on all of them. Video would be 3 hours long. I focused on the largest yacht, Barbara, which I haven't really focused on before, and Motor Yacht Faith. And I hope you've enjoyed the sights of Genoa. It's a beautiful looking city from down at the pier, down at the marina here. And I hope you enjoyed looking at some beautiful boats with me as well. All right, guys, be sure to like the video, helps with the algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch up with you soon. All right, guys, take it easy. Bye-bye.